Alright, let's see if this works. Today what I wanted to do is talk a bit about foils. So, I love foils. I like the way they make the card pop. To the extent I call non-foil cards flat. And some wizards have gone crazy with new foiling processes. And it's really hard to find out what the card is going to look like in the new foiling process unless I see it in person. So, if I get it at the post, ordered on Magic Card Market, and it looks ugly when I get it, it's a disappointment. At least when I go to Trinity, when I go to my LGS, if I pick up the foil, I can look at it and then reject it on the spot. I can say, okay, I do not actually want to buy this, and they will put it back in the bins for somebody else to purchase. But it is kind of disappointing when I think a foil will look really beautiful, really accentuate the art, and the foiling process looks like crap. So what I'm trying to do here is create a guide, and I needed to wait for a bright sunny day, so there's going to be a lot of glare because I'm going to be shifting the cards around to try to give you a full picture of what the foils should look like. All of these are original, none of these are counterfeit. That might also help you when you're trying to determine if a card is counterfeit or not that you have acquired or considering making an acquisition of. So foil started with Urza's Legacy, although the first foil Magic card was a promo, Lightning Dragon I believe it was, from Saga. If you can see it, and I doubt you can because it's fine, this foil looks very nice. In sleeves, it looks perfect. There is a scratch here, and the front, the edge especially, is scuffed from being played in one layer sleeves. So that's something to look out for. Hardly any of these old foils are near mint. I cannot count the number of times I've ordered a near mint copy of some foil, older foil, MKM, and I get it and the edges are scuffed. There's some fine defect, putting it to EX. I always come to some terms with the seller. Rarely have I ever had one so bad I've had to send it back. So this is Cloud of Fairies, and notice that in the old way of foiling, they only foiled the border. If you see, the art and the text box are not foiled, only the border. Maybe now you can see some of the damage on the card. Let's go to the next one. So this is another old frame foil. This is a, I believe it was a Friday Night Magic promotional, some kind of Player's Award promotional River Boa. So originally printed in 6th edition. They reprinted this as a promotional. This one is near mint. This one only has a touch of something here. I'm not sure what it is. Some surface defect. Probably the camera isn't picking it up because it's very hard to get this sort of detail. But again, I'm trying to make a gross guide for people that want to see what old foils look like so they can recognize them. When they reprinted this, they redid the quote, I think. No, they did not. I'm thinking of Wall of Blossoms. I'm thinking of Quirion Ranger. They changed the quote on those. So this is basically a foil reprint of 6th edition. This is not a 6th edition card. The first foil core set was 7th edition. Grab 2. Okay, so here's another set foil. And again, the card is actually EX upon close inspection. Looking at it this way, dead on, it looks near mint, but let me assure you it is not. And you can clearly see that even in masks, they were still only foiling the frame. The frame, the name, the mana cost, the set symbol, and then the star, the addition of the star. It's kind of neat that they started doing that with the retro frame foils. Speaking of that, here we go. This is another F&M card, and the reason I have this up here is to show you a cut line. So these little lines here, where you can see that the foil changes, yeah, there we go, there you can really see it. Something about the foiling process, I don't understand the printing process well enough to speak definitively on this, but they would add the foil layer in such a way that sometimes it would be partially a layer and then I don't know, but they would have these cut lines. A lot of people do not like them. I'm not particularly enthused about it, but I like the foil so much that I'm willing to overlook it for certain cards where otherwise I would not be able to get the foil. And this, perhaps you're picking it up, perhaps you're not, but this trade run writer is in good condition according to MKM. There's too much surface damage. You try to get in the sun. This is why I needed a bright sunny day so I could sit here and flash it in the light to try to get some of the details visible on camera. So anyway, this is only good condition, even though the back is perfect. These foils were rather delicate. That's another reason why it's so rare to find an actual true on, no nonsense, near mint foil from the older foils. Back then we didn't have double sleeves. People would just play with them. Most people, including myself, did not fully appreciate how hard these were to acquire. This F&M foil, it was easy, but the set foils, the box foils, those are pretty difficult. They only came, I think, one per box, if not less. So that's why they demand so hard prices. Now we get into different foiling processes. So here is an FTV from the Vault foil, and you can see the entire card is foiled, but it's like they just slapped a foil layer over the whole card. There are no highlights, nothing pops, it's just a shiny card. It's like they put a layer of plastic over it. Can you see it in the art box how nothing is accentuated? The other problem with these cards is the printing process sometimes left things to be desired. This cut is not perfect. There are tiny nicks. There's one right there. Tiny nicks all along this edge that makes this card, to me, it would be less than near mint. It would be right on the border because it's not perfectly cut. It's not perfectly black down this edge. There's little scars of abraded frame. Some people would call it near mint though. Anyway, I don't particularly care for this foiling process, but I needed the Fyndhorn Elves, and I do not like Justin Hampton's art for Fyndhorn Elves at all. There's only 2 or 3 Justin Hampton pieces. I can tolerate the rest. I don't like it. It elicits a visceral reaction in me. I do not like his art, except for a few pieces. Now here we go with today's foiling process. So you can see the card is popping. There are different extenuations, different effects in the art itself. So, for example, the grid lines on this Esper Island are foil, so they highlight. The clouds, different cloud layers have different highlights. This card I bought in near mint condition, and it actually is. Also, look at the text box. Let me try to get it so you can see the lines. You can see what looks like there we go, lines of electricity, water lines. So this is not the current foiling process, because this is from shards, so the frame still came all the way down to the bottom. Excuse me. And then we have, here's another Friday Night Magic foil from 1993. This one is actually in very good condition. And you can see that this is when they were starting to experiment more with the foiling process. So where it says Magic the Gathering, that is foiled in the text box. The text box is kind of a snakeskin effect that is modeled in foil. The art, let me see if I can get his eye. So his eye, the red around the lens covering his eye pops. The yellow, his hair is not really foiled. And the artist's signature is, oh there we go. The artist's signature is foiled. So they started to experiment more in the teeth. The teeth have foil. So they started experimenting with using the foil to enhance certain segments of the art. Now let's look at some more recent foils. So in this, and I've heard that the American printings and the European printings are different. That, and I cannot remember the delineation, but one of them, the foils are like this. So you can, if you can see, the text box and the art are not foil. The foil layer is only on the outer frame, the middle frame, the set symbol. Bloody hell, I don't want to make this EX by dropping it wrong. So this is one of the Kaladesh inventions in the foiling process used for it. Now it could be that other versions of this card, the art and the text box are foiled, because I've heard rumors, I've not confirmed them, that the foiling process is different depending on the region, which is annoying, very annoying. It should be the same across the board. I also do not have any of the new, like Ragavan. They put Ragavan in this frame, and I don't know if his art and text box are foil, or if they're flat like this one and only the border is foil. I'll explore that once I have the financial resources to drop the money on a Ragavan I don't need. Now here's something, so this is printed 2022. One of the Brothers War retro frame foils. And indeed, it is a retro frame foil. It's got the star. The art and the text box are not foiled. They're shiny, but they're not foiled, as you can see, possibly. The frame, the set symbol, the name does not really seem to be foiled. The star is foiled. So they returned to the old foiling process for this, which is neat. I like it. Another reason I can appreciate it is I do have a copy of the Mirrodin. Is it from Mirrodin? New Phyrexia? I can't remember. Phyrexian Revoker in the original foil, so the art is foiled in that one. So that's a retro frame foil. Then we go to, okay, here's an example of a new foil in the new modern frame, and this is by Sam Gay. I need to investigate that. I just picked this up 2 days ago, and I did not realize that the name Gay is associated with this art. I don't know if this is Rebecca Gay's son, Rebecca Gay's brother, if there's any relation whatsoever, or it's just serendipity that they share an art style and a surname. That I will look into. But you can see how the foiling layer accentuates the art. The red is shiny in foil, the tentacles are foil. The stone bowl he is holding is not. But to be fair, I'm sure all of you are quite familiar with this look in this foiling process, since it's the current version. Now let's look at some stranger things. This is a halo foil. It's a halo foil I don't know if I like it or not. I really don't know. I have not decided. When I first saw it at Charny Retige, when I went to go pick it up, I was tempted to not buy it. Not because of the foiling process, which is just a swirl around the card. The art is not really accentuated. It just has this swirling plastic foil layer on it. But the other thing is, I don't know what's going on in the art. I kind of like how Olivia Voldaren looks here, even though her pose, how she's standing, is not really distinct. Is she flying while she's standing? Is she sitting on something? I don't know. What the hell is going on around her? It looks like some kind of serpentine form here, some other serpentine form here. I don't know if the art was indistinct when provided to Wizards and they just said, who cares? Players will buy it, run it. Or if the foil layer, the way they did the foil layer, is degrading the art, is making it darker. I really don't know. That's something else I should look at. I should look at more of these halo foils to see if it's uniquely Olivia Voldaren's art that is indistinct and dark, or if this foiling process just does that. But anyway, this is the halo foil. I guess the name swirl foil just wouldn't have the same impact. So let's go to, this is a galaxy foil. To be honest, I don't see much difference between this and the confetti foil. I do not have a confetti foil card, but last time I was in Charny Retige, I asked to look at one, and they just brought me one at random, just so I could see what the foiling process looks like. And it basically looks like this, except it's more a bunch of dots than some kind of constellation star pattern. So this is a galaxy, there we go. This is the galaxy foil treatment. And one of the reasons I have a lightning greaves with it is because those shocklands from whatever the hell it was, those are expensive. Those are really expensive. But this was affordable. Then we go to, this is the silver foil. And again, the only thing they did here is they just accentuated the blue. It's not really that silver, it's more, they could have called it, I don't know, sapphire foil. Sapphire would have made a lot more sense, but I guess the different colors, the red cards, the black cards, they would have had to call it a jet foil for black, a ruby foil for red. So they just went with silver. The art and the text box are not accentuated. The foil layer is simply a layer of plastic, let's just call it that, some mylar, over the card that accentuates the blue edges of the frame. Not even the mana symbol, not even the set symbol, and just gives the card kind of a shiny feel. I'm glad this card was cheap, because this foiling process, although it looks nice, it doesn't really impress me. It's nothing special. So let's go to the last example of a foil card I have. This is a Surge foil. Basically, Surge foil is just a rehash of the crappy foil process they used on the pre-release cards for Eventide. For example, Vexing Shusher. If you pick up a Vexing Shusher that says Eventide in the text box, that's the pre-release card. A lot of sellers don't know that, and it really irritated the hell out of me that I had to order from 4 different sellers before I found one that understood what a set foil from Eventide looked like. The first 3 I ordered Vexing Shusher from the set, not pre-release, and they sent me pre-release foils, as if I couldn't tell the difference. And it shocked me that the first one, I thought, okay, fair enough, maybe he's too dumb to know the difference. The second and third, I was thinking, how is it these big name sellers are too dumb, or maybe they think I'm too dumb to know the difference between the set foil and the pre-release foil. So anyway, it took me sellers to finally get set foil Vexing Shushers. And the difference is night and day. So you see this surge foil, how nothing is enhanced, it's just a foil layer. It looks like they put some kind of Aurora Borealis effect on the card. Okay, yeah, it's prettier than a flat card, but there's nothing that stands out. And then you get this, where things stand out, where things are accentuated, where they put some effort into it. And the Vexing Shusher was kind of that. The pre-release foil, the promo foil, was just this, and it wasn't smooth like this. So for the Surge, it's more flowing and smooth. It's kind of like the Halo foil, only without the predictable swirl pattern. So this is smoother. And I probably should have kept one, but 5 years ago I didn't know I was going to try to make a video on foils and would want to have a pre-release Vexing Shusher. Anyway, the foil on that was rugged, jagged, blocky. It just looked like crap. And then you had the set foil that was pretty. So that's my talk on foils. Try to help you see some of the differences between some of the foiling effects that they've been doing lately with cards that I actually have in possession. We'll end off with the Halo foil Olivia. Excuse me. So some examples I do not have. I do not have an Avacyn restored foil. The foiling process they used for that was just a layer of plastic. It looks really it's crap. I don't like it, and it actually detracts from the art. If you can look at some Avacyn restored foils, and you might see what I mean, where it's a layer of plastic that doesn't enhance anything. Other foils I do not have, of course, are the Confetti foil, but the Galaxy foil is essentially the same thing, just the pattern is different. What other foils do I not have, which is a different foiling process? Offhand, I cannot think of any more. So that's it. I hope this is useful. I hope this at least lets people see what these different foiling processes look like, so you can recognize it. So if you want to see what a Halo foil looks like, you can come to my video and you can see it. If you want to see a silver foil, well, there it is. There's nothing special about it. It's just that the frame, the blue, is foil. And if you want to see a Galaxy foil, which, as I said several times, I don't see much difference between it and the Confetti foil. But it is nice. It is pretty. I will give it that. And there we go. Cheers.